Hello, this is Mrs. Ross, and this is the Periodic Table Inquiry Lab. So our essential question for this lab is, how can you use the arrangement of the periodic table to predict properties and classify elements? Now we're going to read, let's see if I can draw on this. We're going to read this in class together, okay? This is basically the background of the periodic table and some specifics. Let me see if I can move forward here. Oh boy, good. So the very first thing you're going to do, it says create a key for the metals, metalloids, and nonmetals. Use the key to shade the sections of the periodic table on the next page. Before we look at the next page, we're going to choose colors for these. So let me see if I can choose color. I don't know if I can choose colors, so it's all going to be in red ink here. But if you want to make the metals like you're going to need to be able to see them. So like a red, blue, yellow kind of thing. And before you go to number 2, you're going to need to use them to color the section. So let's go to the next slide. So here we have metals, and we decided metals were going to be red. So we'll lightly color this in red pencil. These are also metals, so we'll lightly color that in red pencil. This will be in red pencil, okay? Our metalloids are blue, so these are going to be blue, okay? And then our non-metals are here. This is going to be yellow, and then hydrogen's going to be yellow. So you will choose your colors. You can use red, blue, yellow if you want to. And then you're going to color these. And number 2 says cut out the sections, then use the pattern of the atomic numbers to assemble the periodic table in the right arrangement on the periodic table assembly page. Glue the sections down. So, and then it has some hints, which is great. So let's go here. Once you have these colored, you're going to cut these out along the outside, okay? You don't need to include the labels. You're going to cut all of these out. Some of these are kind of small pieces, so be careful, and some of them kind of connect a little weird here. So you'll have all of these pieces cut out, and then you're going to place them where they go on this periodic table assembly page. I highly, highly suggest using, there's a periodic table in your book, there's 2 periodic tables on the wall, or you can even pull up an image of a periodic table from the internet to guide kind of where you want to put this. And my suggestion is that you place all of these where you think they should go on this page before you glue even one of them down. We'll use glue sticks to glue them down, but make sure they all fit where you want them to be. And if you have any questions about where they're supposed to be, please ask. But I would use a periodic table to guide you. So once you have that where you want it to be, these are the group numbers across the, oops, didn't mean to write that. Group numbers across the top. These are the period numbers across the side. You want to use those as guides as well. Okay? So that's number 2 in part 1. Part 2, who am I? So it says read the following clues and try to identify the element from a complete periodic table. So this says, number 1, I'm a metal. I'm in the carbon family and in row 5. Okay? That means that you're going to go find carbon, and you're going to go to row 5. I have 50 protons. That means that the atomic number is 50. I'm widely used in food packaging. Who am I? So you're going to need a periodic table, and you can either use the one that you make here, oops, or the one that you pull up to use. Either one, the one from your book, any of those. Number 2, I'm a non-metal. I'm in the oxygen family. So you're going to go to the group that has oxygen. That means this is the group that has carbon, and this is the group that has oxygen. And row 3, I have 6 valence electrons. That's really not going to help you, honestly, but these 2 will. I'm yellow and have a stinky smell. What am I? Okay, and you'll write the name of the element right here. Okay, number 3, I'm a metalloid. I'm in the nitrogen family. That means that they're in the nitrogen group, row 4. I have an atomic mass of 74.92. So that's the mass. That's not the atomic number. I can be used as a poison. Who am I? Number 4, I am a gas. I'm in the noble gas family. This is group 18. Okay. Row 1. I have only 2 valence electrons. I glow red-orange when in an electric field. I can be found in the sun. Who am I? Okay. And then it says it's your turn. Write a clue about an element, exchange papers. So we're not going to do this exchange papers part. But here's my suggestion, because I still want you to write a clue. I want you to find an element on the periodic table that you like. You're going to do exactly what they said. You're going to tell me if it's a metal, a non-metal, or a metalloid. Okay. You're going to tell me what family it's in. So metal, non-metal, and you'll write it out in a sentence, please. Metalloid, and then what family or group, and what row. And then I want you to find out something about this element. Like you can see, it says I'm used in food packaging. I'm yellow and have a stinky smell, or whatever. Find out some fact. So you'll have your fact, and then the who am I. And I'd like to get these together. So that's number 5. We did this. Part 3, who doesn't belong? So look at the elements listed. Circle the one that doesn't belong. Justify your reasoning. Use the last box to create your own. So what I want you to do is I want you to find these elements on the periodic table, either in your book, preferably in your book, so not everybody's crowded around the 2 that are in the classroom. So in your book, are these in the same group? Are they in the same period? Are they all metals? What do they have alike? Okay, and then one of them does not belong. So if like silicon and titanium are in the same group, maybe this one's not in that group, okay, or vice versa, okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make your own right here. And what I say is choose your favorite group. So you'll have 2 from that group, and then you'll have 1 that doesn't belong. And then you'll justify your answer here. What group is it from, and why doesn't the one that doesn't belong? Okay, when Mendeleev first made the first model of the periodic table, there were several elements missing. See if you can figure out which one of the elements was missing and what characteristics it might have. In each box, you will see a name of an element, a characteristic, and a valence number. Fill in the missing box without looking at your periodic table. I'm going to take this part off because it's about impossible to do unless you have memorized the periodic table, which nobody needs to do. I want you to look at your periodic table and find out what is in this box. Okay, and you'll be able to do that when you find all of the elements around it. Okay, so which elements did you use to predict the properties of the missing element? If there was one of these that helped you more, you could write that down, or you could say all of them. And why, I'm not exactly sure how to answer that, so let's not. Okay. How can you use the arrangement of the periodic table to predict properties and classify elements? What I'm going to do, this uses a claim, evidence, and reasoning process. I'm going to upload a page that gives you more guidance on this instead of talking about it. So be looking for uploaded guidance here. And then reflections. Why are groups important in the periodic table? Now you've done at least 1 lab, actually 2, 3, including virtual labs, that talks about groups and periods. So what do you know about groups? And then what is strange about the placement of hydrogen in the periodic table? Hydrogen's kind of an outlier. So where it's at, does it share properties with its group, or is it just no? So I kind of want you to answer that question as well. And I think that's the last page. Yep. All right. So please let me know if you have any questions.